have a conversation today on the self-improvement segment. We're going to be talking about civility in public places. It's a very interesting topic, and for me, I think it's a very important topic for us to have as Ghanaians. A lot of the times we sort of make fun of these kinds of things, and it's like etiquette is not important, courtesies are not important, and so on and so forth. I've been joined by Bernie Osei-Duah, and he's going to help us to get into this topic. He's a customer experience, HR, and performance consultant. Good morning, Bernie.
Good morning,
How
David.
are you?
I'm doing well. How
Fantastic.
about you, sir?
It's good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so civility in public places, why is it even an important topic for us to discuss?
It's so important, especially if you're a career person and you are involved in working with people. Then civility becomes not just something about good manners, but something that also contributes to your brand. The truth about it is people see you before they hear you. And many times the kind of impressions they create or they form about you would influence, what you do. I think Carla Harris, one of the investors at Wall Street, who is also a bestseller, had written and said that it's important to take your brand serious, because most times the decisions that are made about your life, that influences whether you're being hired or fired, you will not be in the room. And the mindset that people have, the mentality, the impressions, the image they have about you is what will influence the decisions they make.
Wow.
That's why it's important that when it comes to civility, it's ideal for you to take it that serious.
Wow. You've said a lot in just a minute. So take us into it. What are some of the things we need to bear in mind and take serious?
I think for starters, it's ideal to get to define what civility is about. And many times, it's basically about demonstrating politeness and courtesy. So when we talk about civility, you're demonstrating politeness and courtesy through good manners and also, if you like, consideration. And I would like to stay on the element of consideration also a bit. Because you see, when it comes to civility, it's not just about you, but also thinking about the next person. And it's broad. It cuts across different spectrums. And in this conversation, we'll look at one specific area. If there is a chance, we'll look at others maybe at other times. But basically, we consider civility in schools. I'm defining public places now. So in schools, whether in churches or mosques, shopping centers, cinemas, wherever we find people, civility must be there. On our roads, when driving, when we get into eateries and restaurants and canteens, civility must be demonstrated there. So whatever we're sharing is to cut across some of these areas. And when we say someone is very polite or someone is courteous, or if you like gracious, then the element of civility is at play. And this is why, as individuals who live in a society, who live in a community, it's ideal that we consider the conversation around civility.
All right. Take us into it.
Okay, all right. So, like I discussed earlier, or I defined, when we talk about civility, we are talking about demonstrating elements of courteousness, graciousness, and there are many words that goes with civility. So many times they could be talking about things like courtesy, etiquette, politeness, graciousness, considerations. Now, I had made a statement earlier on that says that people see you before they hear you. And many times, you see, what you look like and how you portray or carry yourself would be judged before people can really hear how brilliant you are or how very articulate you can be. All right. So it's ideal that in managing your personal brand, it becomes part of the core considerations that you look at. Now, in this, I had mentioned some few things about Carla Harris. So let me get on straight. Today, I want us to focus on restrooms, washrooms, bathrooms, and toilets. This is because everyone goes there.
All right.
All right.
Fantastic.
So there are many things we'll share if time permits and we have another chance. We'll talk about chairs and doors and when driving, who has the right of way, in as much as some of these things are part of the rules of driving, sometimes you meet people at the door in the offices. who has the right of way, and we'll share about the civil principles that guide some of these things, because people keep walking into each other, and many times you don't know who goes first, and we need to be able to understand that. But today, let's focus about restrooms, washrooms, and bathrooms. All right, now, restrooms and washrooms, all bathrooms are provided for two things: convenience and comfort. So anytime someone uses there, the reason why it's provided is to make sure that you are relieved, you receive a bit of convenience, because no one will really visit there if they are inconvenienced in a certain way. All right? So people will go in there. Now, when it comes to this conversation, I want to categorize it into two. So they are the users, then the hosts, or if you like, the providers of restrooms. Space, all right? Now, let's focus first on the users. Whether you are at the offices, whether you are, in church or the mosque, at the restaurant or the eatery, it's ideal that as a user of a place of convenience, you must understand the rules that guide civility, all right, or that guides the restroom when it comes to civility or being gracious. So there are some few things that are highlighted here which I want to share. Number one, always consider the next person. When you have to use the restroom or the toilet, consider the next person. What do I mean? Number one, it's ideal that you avoid talking while
you're in there. Okay. Why shouldn't you talk when you're on the loo?
There are many reasons I can attest, but I think to keep it also civil, it's ideal that you see. I don't want to go into the scientific base of it, but I want to talk more around. Sometimes, because the place is enclosed, whatever you are sharing also it's out there. It's echoed, it's amplified, and in as much as you think you're sharing something in secrecy, sometimes it gets to come out.
Okay. And so before you continue here, let me ask, if I'm assuming that if you are hearing somebody talk in the loo, in the cubicle next door to you, it means they're on the phone.
Assumed.
Okay, so let's address that. Should you even carry your phone into that space?
The truth is, carrying your phone, it could be with you because maybe you might be a guest in that environment. You might not have anywhere to place it. So definitely will be with you. You might get a message. It's ideal that when you get a call, you can take it and say, I'm busy right now, can I phone you back? It's ideal. But sitting there and really having the chat, is really something that's not civil. There are many things that is linked to it. For example, the conversation can carry on. And in as much as you're comfortable because you're receiving the comfort and the convenience of the place, someone could be behind the door who needs to use the place. And you could carry on and carry on. And in that, we say that you're not being considerate to the next person. And in as much as you don't see who is behind the door, who might be waiting in queue, who might be pressed or inconvenienced, it's not ideal that you talk, out and long on in there.
I honestly, I never thought about this, but I mean, I'm fascinated by the fact that you can actually inconvenience someone just by getting on the phone and becoming so comfortable that you're going on and on with your conversation, which you could have anywhere else. Now somebody is waiting to come and use the space. Wow.
And that is the thing about civility, consideration. Consider the next person. Because either than that, I mean, we take our phones on social media, and you can get lost on social media pages. And if you're not careful, you are there for a couple of minutes, and before you realize you've spent 40 minutes in a loo that could take 5 minutes. And someone has actually been waiting to use it. And they are there pressed and sweating.
I think I dare say that's pretty uncivilized. You shouldn't be doing that.
Now you understand.
Okay, let's continue.
All right. So now, aside of that, I think it goes with my next point. That is to avoid activities, that helps to keep you longer. So we've linked this to the use of social media, phones, and so on and so forth. So let me just add that it's ideal that one of the things to do to show your civility is to wipe the seats and the sinks. Wipe the seats and the sinks.
Thank you.
Now, when you wake up, and you can do this test, in as much as you've wiped all the vitals, when you get off the seat, take a white clean wipe or a tissue and wipe the seat, you will realize that there are some deposits of dirt or residues of dirt that are still left there, all right, from your body.
Okay.
And it's ideal that anytime you wake up, always wipe the seats.
So as you get off the seats,
yes,
clean it before you leave.
Before you leave.
Wow.
Before you leave.
Okay.
All right, because the whole idea is to keep it neat and clean for the next person.
Yeah.
All right, and that is the element of consideration and civility. All right, so clean it so that the next person that is coming can be able to use it. Many times, especially we men, I don't know, with our guns, so we saw our tomb, we shoot and we miss. And I mean, with a short target in a very short interval, I don't know how we miss. And when we say you are not being considerate, you see, women sit to pee. Children touch the seats to get on to do whatever they need to do. Imagine leaving residues of my excretory on the seat and I walk away and a child comes in there.
You're not being considerate.
You're not being considerate. And especially when we in the household or in the community, in an office space, when you have women who must sit to be able to do the things they do, then we say that you are not being civil. All right, so it's ideal, and this is especially to our men. All right, clean the seats. Actually, you need to lift the seats. Exactly, and when you're done, clean it.
Still clean it
before you put it back. All right, because putting it there without cleaning, obviously, it doesn't pattern well, you know, for what you want to achieve. So wipe the seats, and let me add the sink part, because when you wash your hands, the water spills.
Splashes everywhere.
It splashes. So get a bit of tissue, clean the handles, clean the sink, damp it before you walk away, so that you are not actually leaving you behind in the washroom. And I always say, I've mentioned leave it neat and clean, but one important thing is leave no man behind. Oh, yeah. This is so important, David.
So, explain.
Now, there are times you would flash.
Yes.
But
it doesn't all go.
Yeah, you know, there are some army generals that remain on the battlefield. It's ideal you wait, all right? Wait until, you know, the water fills up, and make sure you leave no man behind before you walk away. The reason this is important is when you walk out and you leave residues of whatever you've left, and someone comes in, and I walked after Kweku, all right, who had used the place. The mentality, the impression you've left with me is not really a nice thing, all right? So it's ideal that when you use the loo, when you use the restroom, make sure that whatever happens there, you ensure that you don't leave any man behind. So if the place is filling up, leave it, you know, to fill up, flush it before you leave. Exactly. All right, so this is for individuals that use the restroom, and if you need to be able to improve on your civility or your etiquette, if you like, these are some of the things that you need to consider. Correct. Yes.
I have found that sometimes you're in the bathroom, in the loo, and then somebody comes by and they knock on the door. I'm not sure why exactly people do that. You know, because if you knock on the door, my assumption is that you're expecting a response. But why should I tell you I'm in here?
The thing is, some doors to access these loos don't have indicators. There are some places when you lock, it will say that it's occupied. Others that will say it's vacant, then you don't really have to. But in most of our settings, we don't have that. So for the person not to also, you know, walk into an activity that might not be pleasant to them, what they then choose to do is to knock and find out, okay, where are we on this, before they make the move. Now, when I'm in there and you knock, I need to be able to find a way to respond. So many times I will knock back. All right? You will knock back, just to let the person know. All right? Some will shout, I'm here, you know, and it's really not a cool thing to. All right? So this is for individuals. You know, when you're using the restroom or the loo, these are the things to consider to really make you be considerate. All right. And for organizations as well, maybe just for the sake of time, let me mention this. For organizations, it's ideal. For households, for, you know, schools, and so on and so forth. Anyone who is hosting guests or you are hosting people in your offices, it's ideal that there are certain things you become considerate on. One is the provision of supplies in the restrooms. There is nothing as not so ayoba as walking into a restroom and you don't have what you need to ensure that you take care of yourself and consider the next person. So tissues, I mean, now that COVID, looks like has come to be part of our new normal, then it's ideal that things like sanitizers, seat wipers and so on and so forth are provided so that we can be able to promote that level of hygienic, conditions in our environment for that matter. Fantastic. And these are some few things around the washroom.
Thank you. We definitely need to have you back because I mean we haven't even scratched the surface of the topic. All right. So where can people reach you if they're interested in getting in touch with you?
All right. So first, you can reach me on phone with WhatsApp as well. So it's 0500 200 944.
Okay.
0500 200 944. Other than that, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and also on Twitter as Bernard Osei or Benny Osei-Duah.
Okay.
Right, Benny Osei-Duah. You can find me on LinkedIn, also Bernard Osei-Duah on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And basically that's all.
Now, very quickly before we sign out, I know that you're always running some training or the other. Is there anything that you're doing?
Oh, yes. We have a couple of trainings coming up.
You always have trainings.
I think building capacity is what our communities need. Because the truth is, you can never train an attitude. You can only train a skill.
Okay.
All right. So it's ideal that as you continue to build capacity, you cause a change to happen in our communities. All right. So yes, next week we are having a performance improvement strategy workshop, especially for organizations that are coming from the COVID. How do you actually work with your teams to improve their performance? So this is happening at the Tom Rick Hotel. It's on Wednesday and Thursday, all right, the 14th and the 15th of October. Now, the week after, we have a trainer professional certification program with from the IAPPD in the UK, which we are running here at Airport West Hotel. And it's something that for someone who wants to really build those certification qualities, you can be able to.
What's the number again, the phone number again?
0500 200 944.
944. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Bernie.
Thank you, David.
Definitely will need to have you back soon. So that's Bernie Osei-Duah. He's a customer experience, HR, and performance consultant.
Hi there. We hope you enjoyed the show.
Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends.
This is Breakfast Daily on Citi TV.
Join the Breakfast Daily team Monday through Fridays from 7:30 a.m. to 10. Join us for breakfast daily, only on Citi TV.